pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Are you waiting on me all the time when it's silenced? Is that?
I am. Roll call. Or just,
Approval of the agenda, St. Laurent,
yes?
Lee,
Yes.
McLeod,
Yes.
Hutnick,
Yes.
Poznanski,
Yes.
and Tar now present.
Present.
Approval of the agenda
Oh, you
tonight, yes. And Rose, yes. 7-0.
Next item is public forum.
Approval of the minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry, approval, I already crossed it off. Approval of the minutes for September 11th meeting.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Okay, motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. All right, now public forum. You're here for a financial funding request? No, that's further down. Okay. So no public forum today. Next item is our financial report and approval of payment of the bills. Deborah?
Yep. Okay, so, the only deposit for the month is $200, which was a donation from Earl's Battery and Charger Service for Vintage Fest. Total bills presented for approval are $11,921.83. There is a duplicate in there of $5,000, which will come out of that on the next one. And that's it.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the financial report and payment of bills?
I'll make a motion to approve the bills for the $11,921.83. Support.
Second?
Support.
Is that, I'm sorry, Megan? St. Laurent,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
McLeod,
Yes.
Hutnick,
Yes.
Poznanski,
Yes.
Tar,
Yes.
Rose, yes. Passed 7-0.
Okay, and now funding request. We have two requests, so we'll have you go first, then I'll have the other one which was submitted in writing.
This is St. Laurent, and here for the Romeo Church Society Christmas Home Tour. It was here last month, but this month I did my homework. As far as our involvement with the downtown area, I didn't realize, or I forgot, the Historical Society owns the Starkweather building. We rent to Starkweather, so that makes them part of the DDA district. Also, another thing, we have 6 ticket sellers, and 4 of them are right in their DDA businesses. And last year was close to 900 tickets that were sold for the home tour. That means that's 900 people that are coming to businesses right in downtown district. So I'm asking again, if that information, if we could have a funding of $1,000 for publication, for advertisement, maybe even bigger and better. You want me to Jamie newspapers?
Okay, so this is the follow-up request from last month. We asked them to come back with more information of how the Historical Society was associated with, or how this event will benefit the DDA district.
I'll make a motion to approve the funding request for $1,000.
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion?
I just want to thank you guys for coming back and looking into it and taking the time. And for us doing the work on our end, you know, it's always better to be safe than sorry. So I thank you for being patient.
I think it's a great idea. That my concern is on our side, not their side, is, you know, you made the comment that it's how it will benefit the downtown. We have to be very careful, have a long line of activities that can happen in the village that could benefit the downtown, but may not meet the criteria for funding from the DDA. So I think we have to be very certain that what our criteria is, and that whatever entity comes this way, and I hope there's a lot of them, seeking funding, that it goes through the proper channels, and it's not just a threshold if it will benefit the downtown, because that can become a slippery slope. But I think I personally contribute, I think it's a great idea, and I'm glad we're doing it. We're just, you know, we're gonna have a lot more requests, hopefully over time. We wanna make sure we have a criteria.
Yeah,
Is there
so
a
this
criteria
does-
from the past?
This does meet the criteria, and there's a benefit, so.
Again, it's not about this. I'm saying, when you made the comment, it will benefit the downtown. There'll be lots of people who will say they'll benefit the downtown. We just gotta make sure they meet the criteria of being part of the, you know, it could be a car cruise that comes in from out of town, and they're gonna drive through our town and bring a whole bunch of people here, but really have no affiliation to us, and we could seek funding for it or something. That's an obnoxious example, but we just wanna make sure. I think last meeting, we learned that, and we need to be careful what we approve and what the criteria is.
Right. No, I think it's a good point. I think we need to just be cognizant of what we're going to allow the funds from the district to be spent on.
All right. Any other comments or discussion? All right, if that's the case, we can table it.
Saint Laurent,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
McLeod,
Yes.
Hutnick,
Yes.
Poznanski,
Yes.
Tar,
Yes.
Rose, yes, 7-0.
We received another funding request from Romeo Serve. The description is a photo scavenger hunt in downtown Romeo. All proceeds benefit the Serve Scholarship Fund. Money's going directly to student scholarship recipients. Only concern with this one is time-wise. Our policy requires 2 meetings. This is for, the event is on October 22nd. So I don't know that we'd have the 2 meetings to review and approve this request.
And in that case, we're able to make the decision as a board if since it's time sensitive, to approve, or
We,
we can?
How much is the request?
the request is $250.
Well,
What's the date? I'm so sorry.
October 22nd is the day of the event.
Thank you.
in the interest of community support, my office would be glad to support that, so we as a board don't have to worry or think about that tonight. And you can send them my way. I'm not sure who runs it these days, but that would be a good example of, if that would meet our criteria. And perhaps Megan, you know that best, or maybe Andrea, you've researched it more, but how does that, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, I just want to better understand it myself.
Well, that's what we're here to discuss. So this is the request that we received, and it's up to the board to decide if it meets the requirements of where we would give a grant to.
What is the event on the 22nd? What are they
It
doing?
is a photo scavenger hunt in downtown Romeo. Proceeds are benefiting the Serve Scholarship Fund. Money's going directly to student scholarship recipients. I don't see any co-branding on it.
There's no more detail as far as what, if they,
What the money would be used for other than going towards their scholarship fund.
and the event itself, I'm assuming they're doing just a scavenger hunt downtown, is that the idea the
Correct.
kids are?
Yeah,
Okay.
photo scavenger hunt in downtown Romeo.
Well, I talked to Pam last week, and I had told her that we would donate 100 from the restaurant towards that.
But this seems separate. I wonder if that's an addition.
Yeah, I think this is a request that they have for the DDA. So, I mean, at this point, is there a motion to,
It seems like it's going private, so then do we vote no?
well, there hasn't even been a motion yet, so there have to be a motion and a second.
Right.
Does it fit the criteria? I don't, from what we've talked about, I don't, Megan, do you have a comment on that?
I would
If
see
it
how
fits?
it's located in the downtown, the event is happening, but I don't see any of it directly benefiting, other than while they're down there, they might grab a coffee, they might grab dinner before, so there's potential.
Mhm.
So it's where I go, yeah, it could be,
And the funds are going towards a scholarship, not towards,
Print materials or.
did we
Yeah.
end up, I suggested, because I wasn't 100% sure at the last meeting, did we end up contacting legal and throwing it past them? What are the stipulations?
yes, so that we are able to donate funds if it is benefiting the downtown area. It does get into where those funds are coming from, if they're TIF funds, donated funds, grant money that we're receiving. But on its merits, with this request right now, correct me if I'm wrong, John, but our policy states a 2-meeting cycle to approve funding requests.
It does state that right now, yes.
So we would not be compliant to approve this funding request without the
Okay.
2-month cycle.
But I mean, in addition, to Greg's point, what do we mean by benefit?
Mhm.
I guess that's what I'm trying to understand. Are we saying that we have to, it has to benefit us to at least $250? Is that the idea, that if we're giving 1,000, we want to benefit by 1,000? Or are we just saying in general, societally?
It's just in general, it doesn't
Yeah.
have to match that.
Yeah, it's not like.
I mean, is it gonna benefit any of the
Businesses
businesses
in
that
town.
aren't walk-in established eateries? No?
Yeah. Okay, well, in absence of a motion, then we continue on.
You can direct them towards my office if you want, Andrew, whoever runs that.
Yeah, it would be Romeo Serve.
Did somebody sign the request? Who's the head of it now?
Pam
Yeah.
Getter?
Who is it?
Ann Getter.
I have her number, Greg, if you need it.
All right, if you wanna send it to me, that'd be great.
And I feel like we did last year.
Yeah.
Public comment is over.
It's a pretty good question.
We don't answer questions.
We don't answer questions. All right, moving on, unfinished business. Holiday lighting and greenery.
So I have a question first. I don't see the floral on here.
It's under new business, 2024 floral contract.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, great. Just wanted to make sure I made it on there. All right, so for the holiday decor, we had 3 bids come in, but 2 of them were like an implied partnership on it. So the first one was the Vans Valley, the second one was Jesco in combination with A&R. And I kind of mapped them all out on the spreadsheet. Do you guys have the spreadsheet in front of you? Okay, good. So you can see initially, there's a difference in the price, and then as you go across the top, what I'm showing is the differences in the quotations, and I therefore contacted them this weekend. I contacted all 3 of the vendors and asked these clarifying questions. One of them was, did you include white lights or just the labor? And both did not, so that was added back to both. And then the next one was, was there a credit available for not using the old holiday light hangers and the snowflakes that hang in the alley, because there's a lot of labor involved? And the answer was yes, there's a credit. Jesco and A&R had a $200 credit, and Vans Valley had a $2,500 credit. And then other labor required. I made a column for that because my question to all 3 of them was, how is the decor being executed? And if it was Vans Valley, then when it's time to swap from the fall decor to the winter decor, the mums get cut off, the dirt stays in the liners stay up on the poles, and the decor gets added. If it's Jesco and A&R, then a third party of some kind has to show up, take the liners down, dump the mums and the dirt, get the liners all together, and then have them all in one place, and either meet or not the person, Jusco, who's gonna come and pick them up, and then he's gonna put the decor in them and then bring them back, and then A&R is gonna hang them up and then take them down
Would
in
they
the
take
spring.
care of that coordination though?
Pardon me?
Would they take care of that coordination, like they're subcontracting that out and that's gonna be taken care
Well,
of by
they're-
them?
they're contracted between the two of them, or they're running independently, so we would be like the general contractor, and then there would have to be a third party.
That's what I'm
that
saying,
gets
but they'll
involved.
still take care of that. That's not them
No.
us doing?
No.
Okay.
And then I asked, how would maintenance work under these circumstances for both? And, maintenance is included with Vans Valley, and maintenance on, the A&R and the Jusco. Jusco said that he really, didn't wanna do any maintenance, and he was not going to be climbing up to liners to do any maintenance. So then it's really gonna just kinda be the lights maintenance, and so the light maintenance, was added back to the A&R quote. And so then as you get, when you start making these adjustments to make them all equal, then it goes from Vans Valley being the most expensive to then Jusco is the most expensive. And so that's why I put over here in drawbacks and benefits, I highlighted what I thought were the key points of this. Vans Valley may be higher depending on what options we go for, but would be available because he's local to take care of any maintenance issues that come up, and that's included. And then he had said that over the last couple of years, there really wasn't any maintenance that ever came up, so that's not a big deal. But it's only one contractor, and I think that that's so much easier to manage. On the Jusco and A&R contract, out of town, requiring 3 separate vendors, maintenance requires, you know, somebody to come in from out of town, and it's not the same guy that decorates them. And then having to get a third party to pull down the liners and clean them out and have them ready and either meet Jusco, or I'm sorry, A&R, whoever's gonna come and pick them up. That just seems a bit complicated. And then, the price may be lower depending on the options. So then I listed the options on the bottom and said, okay, if both of them have maintenance, and both of them give a credit for not using the old decor, and both of them include lights going forward, then the difference is, the Jusco contract with A&R is $21,344. And John, remind me, did we add in a guess? Yes, we added in a guess as to how much it would be for a third party to come take the liners down, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we took a guess on that. And then, with the same options, Vans Valley is $17,150. So there's about $4,000 difference.
Is that 17,150 including white lights?
Yes.
Hmm.
White lights on the pole?
White lights on 84 poles and on the arch in, I believe it's Peyton Alley is the name of it. And it also includes the decor.
17,150, we're gonna incorporate some of the red where needed.
Gonna what?
Incorporate some of the red where needed.
Yes, if we don't have enough lights, then we were gonna use some of the red from last year, like in the alleys,
There are red.
so that we can keep Main Street white lights.
So the column that says after clarification, all white lights / 84 poles, Vans Valley says 19,650. And then the other column, after clarification, credit, no holiday hangers, no snowflakes, 17,150.
That takes 2,500 if you don't have snowflakes.
Is that, so that 17,150, I just wanna make sure I'm clear, that just means that we're not hanging the holiday hangers and no snowflakes, but we're still getting the white lights on the poles?
Yes.
Got it, okay,
Yes.
thank
All
you.
the poles.
Got it.
Everything else is included per
Are
the
we doing with
RFP.
sorry.
Pardon me?
Are we using the ribbons?
Yes, we intend to use those. The red bows that were bought last year?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, but anyways,
A couple years ago, yeah.
that's, taken care of somewhere?
Discussion as to decor
I did-
in these baskets and so forth, which would include ribbons, pine cones, what is this, either dogwood or it's listed on here, one of the sticks
Yeah.
and branches.
But
No,
I don't
was
know how many
referencing the
bows
ones
there are.
that we have.
I don't know how many bows there are, so we'll use all the ones we
Well,
have.
We have about, I'm gonna say, we bought half the amount of poles,
Right.
so we
Okay.
have
Yeah.
less, 50 or less.
Yeah, so there will be, I believe it was like 4 or 5 pieces of decor in every basket, and some of them will have the red bows, some of them won't, because we won't have enough, so maybe we do every other one, or something like that.
Yeah.
Did anyone submit any photos, like samples of work?
Yes, but I didn't bring it.
Curious.
Is there gonna be any greenery or wreath at Village Hall too? I know that was on.
Yes,
one-
there's 2 wreaths.
Okay.
I may have one picture for the Vans Valley stuff, but I will need a moment to see if I can dig that up.
That's okay.
So with the maintenance costs, though, I guess I'm still not understanding. If Jesco or A&R do it, it's $75 an hour, depending on how much work needs to be done. But Vans, I see the 1,500, is that not to exceed, like, once they hit that, it's just kind of, that's it, or how?
So
Well, that
what-
sounds like a credit.
What we did to make it comparable is we took maintenance out of both of them.
But what would maintenance be for Vans?
It would be whatever is used. Like, in other words, we would get a credit on the last invoice. If we get to the end of the winter, there's never been a storm, he's never had to restring lights or anything like that.
Right.
Then there would be a $1,500 credit.
But I'm asking, what if we use a lot? Will we go over 15?
Over 1,500 it's covered no matter what it is.
Okay, that's what I meant, it's like,
It
so
will not
it
go
won't go
over
over
1,500.
1,500.
Correct. Where the other one does not have a cap.
It's $75 an hour depending on how many hours it needs.
Yes.
Got it.
So based on that, my recommendation to the board is to go with the Vans Valley
For the 17,150?
for 17,150.
That's a motion, you're making a motion, Deborah?
Yes, I can.
Okay, okay.
I'd like to make a motion to award Vans Valley the contract for 17,150.
Is there a second?
I second.
Could we include in, I'm sorry, still with the maintenance, that doesn't include that, so if we're gonna, or does it?
Well, it includes it unless they don't do maintenance, then we get a credit back. So we're paying $1,500 for maintenance.
I just wanna make sure we don't have to come back and approve something later.
Right, so the way I read it, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're paying 1,500 into a maintenance
Gotcha.
pot.
Okay,
If we don't use it, we get it back.
okay, that's why I just wanna
And
make
is that how
sure.
we ended up putting that on the chart, John? I'm sorry, that seems like a million hours ago to me.
I was gonna
Did
say
we take them both out to make them even?
I don't think
the-
it's
this-
taken out, though.
If you're using the 17,150 number, that, maintenance fee is not included.
It already took it out, right?
Correct.
And that's why I'm saying you might
Yeah.
wanna throw it in there if it's not, that way.
Well, we're under our budget, so I would feel better about having it in there and getting a credit back at the end than having to, like you said, have,
So we're to 19,650,
okay. Yep.
correct?
17,150, 1,500. I'm gonna do it on here.
We have to put that 1,500 back in.
Yep. 18,650, is that what you said?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
So,
18,000?
so it should be 18,650. This sheet in front of me says 19,650.
Mhm.
See where you are, Deborah? Where it says-
Well, yeah, but that's what, we're not doing the old stuff, right? So it's the 17,150.
Well, wait, is it 19, it started out at 19,400.
Then the next column.
We take off 2,500 off of that.
It's not, you're not starting at the left, you're starting at the yellow part.
Okay, so 19,650. But I thought we got a credit for 2,500. Oh, that's what brings you to 17,150.
Correct.
I gotcha, okay.
Correct.
Plus the 1,500 is
Yep.
18,650.
Yep.
So that's what we would pay him. And then at the end, if he doesn't use the 1,500 for maintenance, we get that back, and now we're back to 17,150, yes?
Exactly.
Okay. So we need to make a motion for
So you need to amend your
18,600.
Amend your motion for 18,650.
Okay. I make a motion to award the contract for winter decor to Vans Valley for the amount of $18,650.
Okay, do we have a second?
I second.
Any further discussion?
McLeod,
Yes.
Mahutnik,
Yes.
St. Laurent,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Woznanski,
Yes.
Tar,
Yes.
Rose, yes, motion passed 7-0.
While we're on holiday decor, I do have a question for the design committee. I sent you guys an email the other day. Where are we at with completing the fall decor? The other alleys and the rest of the mums?
I think they're done, but I wasn't in town today.
Alleys
They're
are-
not done, but by this weekend.
Okay, so the
will
other
be
two
done.
alleys will be completed and the mums will be put up?
Mum's up, correct, spring flowers down, mum's up, and whatever additional decorations needed will be done. I was told by the end of this weekend.
Okay, so, and what's on Main Street, where are those decorations coming from?
Those are private people who either contracted somebody or did it themselves.
Okay.
I mean, depending on which one you're talking about. I know there's a lot of people who
Yeah.
put out their own stuff this year.
Cause I know Starkweather's done, but, Parker Alley's not done, and Peyton Lee's not done. So those will be completed by this weekend?
This is exactly what I was told, yes.
Okay.
But the timeline I was given.
It does look good though, and
Great.
I like the way that we've recycled the flowers that are still beautiful.
I agree. No, it looks really good. All right, policy procedure review. Does anyone have any comments, updates on our policy procedure?
I liked all of them. I think there's just some vernacular that we need to change that applies to the DDA, you know, where it says president or whatnot, that would obviously be chair or, you know, things like that, but,
Yep,
yeah,
I-
exactly. Or trustee versus
Director.
director, yeah, but
Now-
otherwise,
The agenda for that is in here is a different format than ours. Do we wanna keep our format, or do we want to adjust to the village council format?
I didn't have strong feelings one way or another. I thought both formats were fine, if this has been working for us, but to keep continuity,
There-
I'm fine with adjusting it.
We won't have, well, we generally don't have funding requests, so that's I mean,
That'd
I
be
think
like
you
an
just cut and
add-in.
put yours in there. They're very close with the
Right.
first 5 or so.
Right.
I have a question on the agenda. I've had a handful of people ask me if we could have public comments in the beginning that are on old business and public comments at the end that are on new business, because sometimes the stuff that's going on at that meeting will have been done before the next meeting and they won't have a chance to be heard.
So if we want, we would just put that on an agenda, as an agenda item to discuss.
Okay, so it won't be a permanent part of the agenda? Oh, you're saying put it on the agenda for a discussion?
Yeah, so we put
Okay.
it on November's agenda,
Okay.
and, then it will be an agenda item for next month, and we can discuss it. Okay, well barring any other changes here, I was gonna redo this with, like you said, switching out the right titles and positions. And then, you'll get an updated copy in your next board packet for a final approval.
Cool.
Marketing RFP update. So I spoke with, Clerk Trapp today, and she, is assisting with resubmitting, to bid clerk. We're also gonna try, kinda saw what the village did as far as also posting a link to it. So we're gonna try that as well to hopefully get more bids in. So she's gonna get that posted for us and then send me the link, and I will get that out there as well. So we can move forward with our marketing program. Sound system update, I thought we tabled this at the last meeting.
Indefinitely, you mean?
Well, due to funding, and just the ability to get someone to come out. We can continue, I mean, we can get someone back out to do it, but if we wanna hold off now.
I propose just to hold off,
Okay.
that's something I think we need to spend time and funds on.
Yeah, especially if it's not gonna happen till spring of next year. Needs to renew. Social districts, we have, formed our committee, we have, on the DDA board, Marty and myself, I'm losing it, Marty and myself, Kelly Stevens, and then also, Glenn from Youngers has agreed to be part of the committee. So we hope to have a meeting by the end of the month, so we can report back in November. Electrical box status update, design pillar, this was brought up at last month's meeting.
Yes, the only update I have on that is that DIA would like to have some input as to how we do the juried selection of artists to do those electrical box painting contest. And I had asked them if they would go back and find out from their director if one of them could be on that committee that would be doing the judging. And so I'm waiting for an update on that. I'm supposed to have a meeting in another week or so.
Okay. Any questions on any of those items before we go to new business?
With the electrical box, which one exactly are we targeting?
It
Ones, I
would
guess I
be a
should say.
program for any of them that are in the DDA area. And so that's one of the things I need to do is like go around and
Okay,
inventory.
That's why I wanted.
Because
what
we also need to
exactly
figure
are
out who owns them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted, which ones are we talking about? How many? Where at?
Yeah, how big of a project? I think it's a cool project.
Yeah.
Just making sure we can manage it all. All right, new business, capital improvement plan, MLL training. So everyone received an invite, that I had received from Megan, so I shared with all of you, October 24th from 6 to 8:30. There is an MML training, session going on here.
Yes, correct.
So everyone here is invited.
What time of
Megan-
day is it?
6 to 8:30 at night. It's about budgeting, correct?
Kind of. It's forward thinking and planning. So considering our budget and what you guys would like to ask for and do, or projects we might want to do together, there needs to just be forward thinking and planning in that way. And this is going to teach us, essentially the planning commission is at the helm of it, like the master plan. However, it involves so much of the village. So anyone with a budget is invited. I ask that if you are gonna come, send me an invite, or send me an email, of confirmation, cause I need to make sure everyone has paperwork ordered. So,
Perfect.
Sounds good.
So, yeah, it would be great if our board would, all be able to come and participate in that. 2024 floral design?
Yes. So based on the fact that we need to approve a contract right away to get things rolling in time to have what we need by spring, I am recommending that instead of creating an RFP and going out for bid, that both contracts that were issued last year had options for an additional year. And I would like to recommend that we take advantage of that option and just go ahead and continue both of those contracts for next year. So part one would be to Jessica's Greenhouse of Richmond, as presented in the amount of $16,000. $1,000 is a budgeted item over the current year to cover any increase in costs. And the vendor will credit any unused portion of that $1,000 against the last invoice. And then part 2, 3, 3A, and 4 is to Vans Valley Watering, as presented in the amount of $23,550. This represents a $500 increase over the current year contract. And I would like to make the motion that this is passed based on the wording.
and it includes the mums again?
It does,
That's cool.
yeah.
And then would this include the mums being put up?
It does,
been taken down
yes.
or handled?
It'll
Okay.
be exactly the way it's managed this year.
So
Well, we
thi-
didn't
this
have-
year there was an.
No, I mean, I know. I mean, it would be executed the same way as this year, but it's in the contract this time. That's what the extra $500 was, or, I don't know. I'll have to go back and ask.
Oh, that's what the
He-
additional
he-
500 is?
He told me that now that he knows how to work with them and what's going on and everything, that that's what he needed to do, exactly the same thing, including the mums. It's a $500 increase, but that covers everything that we did this year, even, you know.
Including the
li-
mums?
Like without having to have the additional money again, is
Right,
what I'm trying to say.
Right, okay.
Do we get a support? I'll support if there wasn't.
Okay, so we have a motion, we have support. Any further discussion?
When would we start an RFP for the following year? Just something to think about going forward. Don't it, like, just-
Yeah,
I would
like
love
the idea
to,
to lock it in and then that's,
yeah.
I'd love the
that's-
organizational committee to come up with like a calendar of when we need to be executing these things, because they keep just like falling in my lap, and
Right.
I'm like,
Right.
it's due yesterday.
well, and there was a time
it's
we
not a
did
bad idea.
3 years at a time.
Yeah,
Locked it in
This,
for
this
3.
one has an option, one more option for the following year, but, you know, of course, we'd still want to be on better timing to figure out if that's what we want to do.
Ready? McLeod,
Yes.
Poznanski,
Yes.
Saint Laurent,
yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Hutnick,
Yes.
Tar,
Yes.
Rose, yes, 7-0.
Alrighty, perfect. Pillhop committee request.
Payment in lieu of parking, PILOP.
Pileup, sorry.
I like pill hop better.
Pillhop sounds a little more fun.
This was a committee the council just created. It's essentially to talk about and figure out the exact carrying out of this fee. So we've asked that someone from the DDA be included on it.
What's it stand for? I'm sorry.
Parking in lieu of, no, payment in lieu of parking.
Where's the
I remember
H?
where's
What's the H for? That's what was throwing me.
I don't think there is a eight.
Is this supposed to be PILOP?
typo?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
That's why I was saying pillhop.
We were excited about pill hop. Can you explain,
Pileup.
can you explain a little bit, Megan, what this means, what this is?
Okay, so essentially, we all know we have struggles in parking, enough parking for current businesses. We have businesses that continue to change use. Sometimes they increase that. If we're already struggling to meet the demand that we currently have, we need to continue to think forward in that, the expansion of this. There's only so much space downtown, so when it's available, we need to be able to grab it. And there's not really residential funding for that. You know, our tax dollars of the residents don't necessarily need to be 100% grabbing the available parking. So this is something that comes in and helps kind of have that money set aside, so that, unfortunately, the example we most currently have is when a house was no longer there. We bought that property, the village did, and then redid it. If we had this parking fund, that money could have helped offset the village taxpayer dollars that went to that. That's where that comes in.
Is there, how long has that policy been, is it a policy or an
The
ordinance?
ordinance has been on for, I wanna say it's almost 20 years. I swear it was in 99,
Really? Okay.
2001, somewhere in there. It's been almost,
This pileup.
the ordinance has been in there.
Okay.
And there's always been a phrase that we could create a fee. There was just never a fee created in that spot. And I want to say 2 to 3 years ago, I can't recall exactly, a fee was put into that.
But as of yet, not been collected.
Not as of yet, hasn't been enforced, and that's where we're coming up at the office, and when we're having businesses come in, we've had 2 potential restaurants come in, and it's like, okay, well, just so you know, we now have this or payment in lieu of parking fee, and you don't have, your plans don't accommodate for any additional parking, so if you don't have it, in order to meet those requirements, you may use municipal parking, however, then you need to pay for that. And there's no structure to it. At the council level, we've talked about, it doesn't necessarily all need to be paid up 100% up front. Maybe we do it over time, but then we say, there was nothing set in motion regarding that, because what happens if the business leaves after 3 years and never fully paid that fee? Maybe there needs to be some sort of further conversation in how that's carried out, and this is where the clerk has asked for the committee.
Okay.
So it's like a brainstorming committee? Trying to come up with
Kind of.
implementation ideas?
Well, it's there, the structure is there, and it's how it's going to actually be enforced. If there's gonna be any
Mhm.
changes to it, then it would obviously recommend it to the council to update or put a new phrase in there to give it the teeth, but yes.
Okay.
Okay, is there someone on the board that would be interested in being a part of this?
Well, those will be open to the public to sit on those anyway, Megan? Those-
It's a subcommittee.
Yeah. I'm interested in it, but I can't commit to be the regular representative, so wouldn't be me.
I guess I'd be interested in it, but I would need to understand the commitment, because I have the same issue of traveling, and I'm gone December and January, except for dates where we have
Right.
meetings and stuff like that.
I do not know, I don't have that answer. I don't know what the clerk is foreseeing in that area, if it's gonna be once a month, twice. I don't know if it's gonna be a bunch in the next 2 months to get it figured out, or
If
over
it's-
time.
If it's something where it's like, you know, a contribution that can be done over Zoom or something like that, I don't know. I mean, it's something that I definitely have some ideas on and knowledge of, you know, other places that have done something similar. I would just need to know if I would be able to meet the commitment. So can we ask those questions and then
Mhm.
make a decision?
Yeah. Do you wanna table it?
Yep, let's table it till next month and we can get some.
So you wanna know commitment, time, you wanna know
What-
time
what is the-
constraints, commitment.
Yeah.
Okay.
it's-
Yes, and does it have to be in person every time?
I'm gonna say yes,
I
Probably.
think it
cause if
does.
it's an open meeting and
Okay.
we're abiding by the rules of everything, that's off the top of my head.
Gotcha.
Okay, web services,
Yes, so we had a little issue with the DDA website. A week or two ago, I went to the website and it was down. I contacted Verona right away and they had it back up within 24 hours. In your board packet, you can read the email from Verona, but essentially what happened was from the previous developer, there was a plugin that was installed, and the way she explained it, not to get into too much technicalities, but essentially the right way to build the website versus the way that it was built previously was there were a bunch of plugins that were put into the website, and when they expire, they break the website. So that was discovered, and there may be other plugins that are on our website that we don't know about. And so the one that broke that needs to be fixed was unfortunately all of our business listings and their bios. Some of the information we still have and they were able to recover, like the pictures, but we are going to have to reach back out to some businesses and get bios and information. What they're able to do right now is put the pictures back up there, basic information like phone numbers, email, you know, that stuff that we already have. And then we can slowly kind of work on putting those bios and more information back on the website. That part is time consuming and recreating all of that. So that estimate is $1,400 right now. And they are going to include a website audit at no additional cost to find on the back end any other plugins that happen to be there, to see if there's any other foreseeable issues. I did ask her, if you do find another plugin and you have to rebuild that part of it, how much is that gonna cost? And she said, at this point, it probably is going to be as simple as almost like a copy and paste. There's probably more technical terms than that, but essentially just copying and getting the information over onto a page
which is much faster than waiting for it to break and then finding it and having to reinvent the wheel. So, at this point, I would like to, make a motion to have Verona, fix this webpage, do the audit for the $1,400.
I'll make a motion.
Well, did you make the motion?
I did make the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'll second.
Just as a point of discussion,
Sure.
I don't recall who we had create that part of it. Have we even, should we reach out, ask if they had an idea in that avenue of what they were thinking and the way that they did that? Or if they have a suggestion
Well,
to,
I was gonna ask you, is there any obligation there, any financial contribution? Who's this vendor that we just used that's just gonna have things expire on us, especially without informing us? I mean, how,
Yeah,
we
I've
can't
got
just
the
sit
same,
back and.
I used the same vendor, and it was I who referred him, you know, to this board, and he's done, I haven't had this problem with his, has anybody reached out to Think Street at all, do you know, Danielle?
I have not reached out to Think Street, and most likely you haven't experienced a problem, Greg, because they have ticklers that come up for them where they're notified that their plug-in is going to expire, so they fix it before it expires. Because we no longer have a contract with them, I am making assumptions that
Yeah. I don't
they're
know.
not getting that tickler anymore, or they have,
We're not on their radar.
we're not on their radar anymore because we don't contract with
Well,
them.
I would hope a reputable company would give us this information ahead of time and not just leave us. You said
I
you
did
use this
ask-
guy?
Yeah.
I think we have to at least.
Would you be comfortable reaching out to him since you have a
When I saw the
relationship?
board package, I already texted him, a little earlier this evening to see if there's something, but I haven't heard back. That doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's this evening and whatnot, but I will continue reaching out now that I know you haven't, you know, tried, but if you would've said, yeah, I did reach out and this is what they
Sure.
told me, so. Yeah, I've got, I'll be glad to, you know, and I'll follow up with you, Danielle, on it. I'd be glad
Yeah,
to
if
do
he,
that.
I mean, certainly if there's
I
a,
was the one that referred him, so I don't mind doing the work on the other side to find out what happened.
okay.
Um,
And certainly if he knows right off the top of his head, yeah, these two other things are plugins,
Yeah, that would
we
be
can
helpful.
easily, you know, quickly
ahead
do
of it.
that. But that piece of it, as far as finding the other plugins, Verona's already including in this at no cost.
Yeah,
The
so
biggest,
I got a text back just now, it says there should be no, and I don't wanna prolong this, I'll get you in touch with, there should be no reason the plugin can't be renewed and should have been renewed by new web company. I probably put 80 hours into the directory, it worked great. They should just relicense it and continue to use it. Again, I don't know what all that means, but if you wanna pick that up and run with it with Sean or somebody and, see what that means exactly, I can loop you guys in tomorrow and see what the next step is, but,
yeah, if you can send us whoever that contact, send me in an email or text that
I
contact
can do that.
information, I can certainly have Verona talk to them.
yeah, because if they have any ideas or they have the quicker, you know, they know exactly where to go, like you're saying, they'll save money or
Right.
time on the other end.
And I guess it would be, you know, up to us as well as, you know, Verona is saying that I don't wanna say the correct way, but the way to ensure that if you do ever change hands and whoever your web developer is, if everything is done in the back end, there are no of these additional plugins that are sitting out there on the outskirts, it's all built within the website, you won't ever have your website crash.
Right, and then you're not beholden to a certain contract.
You're not beholden to a certain contract,
it.
it will all be built in, you can easily switch over credentials and the next person does it, whoever you award that contract to.
Yeah.
So I guess at this point,
So
we
it's
have a motion, we
it's
have a
cheaper to
second.
fix it, but maybe it's a better design to go ahead and spend the $1,400 to have a more stable
And that's-
design.
I believe what she had said too in the meeting was that's an older way of creating sites.
using the plugins, yeah. It is a little faster, from what she's saying, I don't do this, and so it does take a
Faster
little
to
more,
remedy or faster, the website runs faster?
it's a created, it's a
Okay, I
faster
gotcha.
creation. So it's, I guess it's up to us if we we have a motion and a second, and if there's any more discussion, or if we,
Can take a vote.
He's texting back too and asks, have you even moved the website to a different server? It should still, it should still be on my server. I'm not sure what that means, but I don't think for $1,400 or $1,500, it may be a great deal. I think we gotta find out what's going on with these guys, and he's just looped you into a text with
Okay.
him, so if, I asked him if he'd have a minute to talk now, but see what
yeah.
he says.
I mean, we can take a
You wanna
vote,
take a vote?
and then,
Lee,
yes.
McLeod,
Yes.
Saint Laurent,
Yes.
Rosansky,
Yes.
Putnick,
Yes.
Tar.
So we're voting to spend the $1,400 before we talk, is that what I'm?
That's
Yes.
the motion is.
Correct.
Yeah, no, I don't, of course, no, I wouldn't do that way.
Rose is a no. Motion 5-2.
Oh, and after your conversation, if it doesn't seem that it's needed,
Then we don't spend it.
there's no obligation.
Right.
But if you need it, then you don't have to wait a month.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're not waiting on that. Alrighty, number 10, board member comments. Deborah?
I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay, Greg?
Just a follow-up comment on that, I don't understand why we just voted that, if I understood it correctly, to spend $1,400 on something before we talk to the other vendor to see if there's a quickie fix. It seems like a pretty quick use of the money and not well-informed. Unless I missed something here.
I've got a couple things this month. First of all, and this is mostly, I guess, as far as being a business owner, there's been a number recently of CBD businesses that have announced business hours, staying open later. Just wanted to say, great job, thank you, and the more the better. So let's keep that up. Especially in this month coming up for October, there's a lot of people coming around, so, yeah, anybody that can stay open later, it benefits everybody. Hopefully brings business to your establishment, but it does give, other things going on around there to bring people down here.
Is there a way for us, oh, I'm sorry. Can we promote that somehow?
Yeah, I mean, I see it promoted. I mean, I know I saw Marty promote. I've seen Carl at Vera's promote, to name a few, so. And then I also want to mention, little friendly rivalry has begun with some October decorations started by Carl at Vera's. I've jumped on board, trying to, compete with him a little bit. I think it'd be another great draw for the CBD area for other businesses to jump on board, and let's see who can up the next one.
It was quite comical watching you and Julie try and put it up.
Was that a great
Oh,
one?
that's right.
It's a little
Sorry.
bigger than I thought,
I
but,
drove by and
It's
was,
huge.
we made it,
I
so.
was watching from across the street.
I just want to point out, and this is from experience over the last few years here, we're in a month where there's Tilson Street begins, and it does Tilson draws a lot of people, and we've had discussions in years past, how can we, draw some more people even to a greater area. So a simple thing like staying open late, a simple thing like some extra decorations here and there, it kind of gives people, whether we want it or not, a little incentive to travel and see other things than the wonderful draw we do have at Tilson. And then finally on that note, again, speaking now just as a personal note, local business, I do find, and I have found over the years, Tilson is a great draw, and it does help some of the local businesses down here. And to that, we actually started this last year. I'm volunteering to be a drop-off spot for anybody, business or resident, that would like to donate, kind of like whatever you want, a big bag of candy that then gets delivered to the various decorated houses down on Tilson Street, just to help them a little bit of a give back, for what I feel is a great draw for the area. So if so inclined, whatever candy that would normally be given out by trick-or-treaters down on Tilson that you'd like to donate, don't have to bring it to the coffee house. I'd certainly will get it to Tilson Street. I'll just put it out there. Go take it to a house on Tilson or somewhere. I'm sure it gets appreciated. We did do a little bit of that last year as well as many others. And the feedback I got was it was appreciated. So I just wanted to put that out there since we're in October.
Perfect.
Yay, October. Speaking as a Tilson resident, thank you, John. Yes, the candy is very much appreciated. We have over 2,000 trick-or-treaters, so we hand out a lot of candy. And we do distribute it to all of the houses, so we appreciate that. Couple dates to remember. Art and Wine Walk is October 13th, and Empty Bowls is at that same time, correct?
Yep.
October 13th. Monday Club History and Hauntings is October 21st, and Trick or Treating Downtown is October 28th. All of this is going to be on our promotional materials that will be out soon, but there's just some for October to remember. I have had a few people reach out regarding some comments made at the last GDA board meeting. It was said, and I quote, "It is important that we vote with our checkbooks." This question that was brought to me was whether or not monetary donations are required to be a DDA board member. I wanted to make it very clear this is a voluntary board. We're not paid for our time on this board outside of this room or for meetings. It's a privilege to participate and volunteer for this community. There's zero requirement to donate any monetary funds to the DDA in order to serve on this board. This board needs individuals who are willing to put in the time and effort to help support Romeo's downtown district. Time is a valuable commodity that most of us do not have much of, but it is that time that helps push projects forward. While monetary donations are certainly welcome, as they do help fund projects, and with more money comes more opportunities, it is not a requirement. In fact, I would argue the commitment to participating and attending our pillar meetings, regular meetings, and volunteering for projects is most important. As a board member, we should be careful when donating funds and understand these funds are to be spent in the CBD for the benefit of the entire CBD. I certainly do not want anyone in this community to think that they can buy their way onto a board or any other. While I am sure that was not the intention of the comments, I wanted to clear this up for those who have asked and reached out to me. And that's all I have.
Marty?
No, downtown Romeo looks amazing, beautiful. I'm so proud to be a part of all that. Thank you, that's all.
Megan?
I got an email just today saying as such that the flowers looked great. Pass it on to you guys because it's part of what you do. Flowers look great. The scape looks great. They were very proud of their hometown. Passed it on. Something from me, from my end, I wanted to come to you guys. Village has started what we call the Spirit of Romeo Award. This is an award that we will be handing out to those who embody the quote-unquote Spirit of Romeo. So this is their first award. They will not look like this going forward. They will be plaques, but this was in order to get it done in time. We had L&L just expand in their current business. So this says, businesses are the heartbeat of our village, the backbone of our local economy. We thank you for exemplifying the spirit of Romeo. Welcome the changes, look for the opportunities in every situation, grow in wisdom, achieve greatness, and make a difference in our village. So this is something, because this is out in the industrial, we have our village logo on. What I would like to propose to this board, though, is that when things happen in the DDA district, that this could be a collaborative effort. Someone who's been here a long time, somebody who's new, a rededication, another ribbon cutting. We'll be handing one out to our rebranded, expanded Chamber of Commerce coming up in a few weeks. So I wanted to ask if you guys wanted to jump in on these projects and on these awards and get your logo on that one, starting out this first one and then going forward when things happen downtown.
I love it.
Yeah,
I think it's great.
great.
Is there,
It will say something different. We're gonna kinda need to tailor them depending on if it's a grand opening, a happy
Sure.
20-year
Personalized,
anniversary.
yeah.
Yes, but very similar intent.
So what do we need to do to be on this one that's coming up?
Just send me an email confirming that you will, your logo is allowed and you give permission. And going forward, I mean, of course, bring ideas
Yep.
that you see our way, and we'll do vice versa. And I think this is something great that we hand out as a village to those who make a difference in our village. I said to Kelly that often the chamber is the one handing out the awards, but who gives the chamber an award?
Yeah, they
Right.
don't get them very often.
So I think it's something, a big step that way, that they'll get to put something on their wall for what they've done for us.
Wonderful.
great.
I just have a couple comments. I wanted to thank Carl from Vera's and Andrew from the dance studio for taking the time to do the black and orange lights downtown. It looks great. It's like the final touch on everything. The downtown does look fabulous. It looks great when you're driving down it. And it was nice to see those Sunday night. I was driving through town and they were all lit up. So thank you to them, because they just did that out of just their spirit of Romeo and caring
That's
about the
awesome.
downtown, which
Yes.
was great. Also, was posted on our Facebook page, but the Romeo was identified as one of the top 5 Halloween places in the United States, which was pretty
Oh,
great.
wow.
So we were up there with like Salem, Massachusetts, and some
Wow.
big Halloween locations. So really great, and I think it just kind of all goes into what we're talking about here of what a great place Romeo is to be in the fall and at Halloween time, and to make sure that we're all just making sure we're getting the word out there and we're sharing everything we have. Alrighty, that is our board comments. So do we have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Support. Oh, go ahead, Marty.
Go ahead.
Who's support?
Marty?
Megan. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, motion passes and meeting adjourned.